Hi, I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. And welcome today, Representative Chris Tuck, who is the House Majority Leader. And Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Uh, Chris, one of the things, we've spoken of this before, but one of the things that is concerning a lot of people today is sort of the loss of faith and loss of trust in government in general. And we see a lot of things happening at our state level that sort of represents this also. I mean, you're a real veteran in the legislature and the political scene here, and I just would like to kind of ask your thoughts about this. What can we do to restore faith, not just in the legislature, but also in government?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we need to maintain, and that is the integrity in the legislative process. Whether or not the outcome is the way that you wanted it to go, by at least having a fair process, people are like, well, at least that was fair. And when games get played and when shenanigans happen, that's where really people lose faith in government. And that's my whole goal. My whole goal is to restore that faith in government. And to do that, we have to begin working together and get rid of the gamemanship. And that's the most difficult thing I think that the Alaska legislature has to face this next year, is there's such a partisan divide. And it really isn't about Republican versus Democrat. It's not about us versus them. It's really about all of us pulling together and doing what's best for Alaska. But because we have this another election coming up here real soon, where just basically I think everybody is going to have to run, including the governor, with the except of maybe one or two Senate seats, depending on how the pairings and how the district lines end up. With redistricting, with the new Proposition 2 that passed with the new election procedures, it's going to be very difficult to make it through this next legislative session if we don't band together and help one another and have the conversations that's necessary to really move Alaska forward. And Alaskans have plenty of reasons to be having a lot of angst and a lot of anxiety on where we're going. We have schools have been very difficult for families due to the pandemic. Families are having a very difficult time with not only providing for themselves with the economy that we're in right now, but also being able to get supplies for their families. I mean, I was in Cars Huffman recently, and I just cannot believe how many, I mean, the groceries, the shelves were out of milk. The only thing there was just a small little section of chocolate milk, cheeses,
We've all seen that.
Yeah, it's just really difficult. So there's a lot of angst out there, and Alaskans need heroes. And I think it's time for us to start acting like heroes.
Now, Chris, you mentioned games being played. I know that's all a lot of times in the eye of the beholder, but how can we, what's meant by that? Is that one side capturing some parliamentary procedural maneuver and holding on to it and preventing things, or how can we kind of get around that sort of thing?
Well, I think one of the things that we need to do is really is to pass our Masonic rules. I mean, we have Mason's manual. We need to pass Mason's manual. That's modernizing the way that legislatures, end up having a fair process. And we're going off the old 2010 rules. And, most corporations and most organizations follow underneath Robert rules. And so, I mean, that's just a perfect example right there, not being able to adopt Mason's rules of some of the gridlock that we're having down there in Juneau. And I understand there's things that we can change and improve with our uniform rules. I have written up a piece of legislation that I hope that will make everybody happy, because we had a series of amendments on the resolution. And so, I mean, just even simple things like that to make sure our processes maintain their integrity and making sure that everybody understands that moving forward.
It strikes me also that legislators don't spend enough time just talking to each other in the old days.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's just the nature of society these days. Less conversations are happening, more things are happening via internet. We don't, because of COVID, we've had to isolate from one another, so you don't see groups of people gathering to have dinner. You don't see families getting together. Conversations have been very limited, and public access has been very limited to the Capitol this last couple of years. This year, we are going to plan on allowing the public into the Capitol. So hopefully more conversations will happen. I know there's a lot of organizations and groups and people that have their agendas and have their concerns. And so hopefully more conversations can happen, because we cannot solve the state's problems without having those important conversations.
And the biggest problem is the physical gap. Still no solution to that. And you think we haven't got much time left, Chris, but you think this is the year to do it, or else we're in deep doo-doo? Is that?
Yeah, no, really, it's time to take charge and take action. It's time to lead. The governor, the legislature, the House and the Senate, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, we all have to put away the campaign rhetoric and really focus on good public policy. And I think one of the biggest uncertainties that we have, for not only for businesses and for education, but for families. And yeah, we just have to, we had a great start with the comprehensive fiscal plan working group that got formed coming out of the regular special session. They put together items that we should all consider. And I think that conversation resulted in a great product that now we need to take the next steps, and that's actually getting something passed.
Well, hopefully we can make that happen this year. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Chris.